Yo, what's good, everybody?
What's up, y'all?
Welcome back to La Familia.
Yes,
you
sir.
already know what's going on. Appreciate you, Zeke, coming
Yes, sir.
through.
You already know.
We are going to record a La Familia recap pod and just kind of just discuss some things, how we thought it went, what could have been better, and you already know the vibe. So, Zeke, what did you... Hold on, let me pull up my questions. I'm not going to sit here and act like I memorized the questions.
We know dang well you didn't memorize these questions.
I didn't memorize the questions. Okay, here we go. All right, question number one. What went well, in your opinion, on that night?
So, first off, I just want to say thank you for having me again. It's always a pleasure with
No problem.
you.
Anytime.
Yes, sir. I think La Familia, the event went phenomenal. And I think some things that went well was the worship. Worship was fire. I think worship went really, really well. We threw back with the coritos and everybody was kind of into it. It kind of took us back to a moment of our childhood, but a little bit more modern without all the legalism and without it going on for like 45 minutes. Like you know how it used
just
to
keep
be.
going and going and going.
Right. What about you? What you thinking?
I thought we executed the program better than the first time.
Okay. Talk to me about that because I wasn't there the first time.
Yeah. You weren't there. The itinerary, basically. And I think obviously it was the first one, so we weren't too sure, obviously, of how it was going to go exactly, because the first one kind of set the blueprint of what to do and what not to do, right? So the first one, I think we were I think me personally, I was just kind of scared or nervous. I think not scared, but nervous.
Okay.
Just to see how everything was going to go, and I didn't anticipate that so many variables would be involved.
Right. You just thought it was going to be 1, 2, 3, and everything would just kind of...
Yeah. And I just thought, like, maybe it's just like, hey, if we have some people serving coffee, we have some people welcoming people, and we got a sound guy and a band, we're good. It's just a church service, basically.
Yeah.
But it's not, especially when you have a heart behind it, right? When you have a vision behind what you want to do, it's not just, hey, pull up. And so I learned from that. We learned from that, and this time around, we were way more prepared. We had meetings at your house, and it was almost like a step-by-step, basically,
right.
on what to do. And it felt like a lot, but in reality, it was basically kind of like the bare minimum. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like a lot, but it's like...
I don't think it was the bare minimum.
Well, these are like... the way I'm looking at it, it's just like, it feels like a lot, but these are like the basics of what you need to run an event, right?
That's true.
The things that we were talking about. And one thing that was really important for us was... we wanted to eventually drop our own merch, right?
Hey,
and
let's go.
He's wearing it right now. And it sounds like, oh, just merch or whatever. But, like, it's crazy to think about how many people purchase merch and shirts. And so I thought that went well because, honestly, I didn't anticipate so many people wanting a shirt.
Right.
I just wanted to play it on the safe side. I said, hey, can we make 25 shirts? And if we sell out, we do. And if we don't, we don't. But we ended up selling like 70 shirts, bro.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
It was crazy. God did.
Hey.
God did.
And while we're even on that about the shirts, you saying that we sold more than expected. Also, something that I think went really well is that people actually showed up. And there were a lot of people there that I did not know or that maybe don't even go to church. Like, I was on stage and doing sound checks, so I didn't really have time to, like, be in the lobby and everything. But based off of what your wife was telling me, like, there's a lot of people who showed up for the first time and scanned the new code and, try to connect and stuff.
There was a lot of people there before it actually started compared to the first time. So I walked out there for a second because I was needed for something, and there was just like people hanging out.
They were just chilling,
and I was like, "Yo, it's not even 7:30 yet. It's not even 7:15 yet.
Right?
7:20. You know what I mean?" And people were showing up, and that was way more than the last time. And a lot of people say like, "Oh, you're not supposed to. You shouldn't compare. It's not about the numbers." But it is, though. It is.
Talk to me about that. What you mean it is?
And so I don't want people to think that I'm thinking or that Jesse and I are thinking it's literally about the numbers, but it is in the sense of you have to grow from your last event. You know what I mean? So if so many people showed up or if so many people were in the lobby during this time, how many people were in the lobby the second time around? And there was more than the last time. So clearly it was something that we did better or more correct or more inviting for people to want to show up early.
Exactly.
And you learn from those things. So it's not necessarily about the numbers or how many people or how big it was, because it's all about the kingdom.
Right.
And God is going to do what he wants to do.
Right, whether there's 3 people there or 30. Yeah,
I want to make that clear, right? But when you run an event, and when you run events like that, whether it's a worship night or not, you want people to show up. That's the whole point.
Right.
And so I thought we did I thought what went well was the itinerary, the planning, and the way we marketed it to where people actually showed up early or earlier than the time it actually like started.
And I think a good point to that is that it was a Friday night and the doors opened at 7. So a lot of times when we go to like concerts and different things, like it starts at 7, so doors open like at 6:15 or 6:30, but people are getting off of work. And so I think that by starting it, doors opening at 7, it gave people time to go back home, change, get ready, because it's a Friday night, people still have work. And so the fact that people were there beforehand is because they're like, oh shoot, like this don't start to really 7:30.
Yeah.
So I got time.
And I think I wanted to make that clear, right? We want you to hang out before. We want you to to find community. We had like, for photos, we had our merch set up, we had coffee, and we were selling certain things. And I think, that was a good part of what the event was, and we learned from that. And hopefully moving forward, we can get it to where it's kind of like a pre-gaming, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like just like
that got a different connotation to it.
Yeah, I know,
though,
but you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
Just like a good time to like hang out before the actual event and stuff like that.
And I think about my goal would be to
pre-gaming
to kind of build it to where it's almost like a party right before the service.
Yeah.
And so, but I thought it was a good step in the right direction. And I thought that really went well. And right. Question number 2. What didn't go well?
I was waiting for this question
because I feel like you a hater at heart. And so I feel like you're always ready to let me know what didn't go well.
Well, you my boy, so I'm gonna be super real with you.
I want to make something clear. You need people in your life that are gonna tell you when something didn't go well or when something's not hitting. If I would have designed some merch and then everyone's telling me it's fire, but nobody buys it, was it really fire?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It clearly wasn't fire.
You need people in your life to tell you, hey, yo, this didn't go, the way.
They don't.
God did. For those of y'all who don't know, but I'm just playing. And obviously, you need people to let you know when something didn't go well. So, in your opinion, what didn't go well?
Alrighty, so I'm going to start with the first thing, because if you know me, I love to be punctual. I love to not waste people's time, and I love to get in and get out. Obviously, when we're doing like a show or an event or something, things can go off plan and things may not start right on time.
Yeah.
But one of the things for me is I love being punctual, and our event did not start on time. I don't know if that's because things weren't ready or because everybody was turning up or pre-gaming in the lobby or whatever the case was, but we did not start on time. And that was something where I was like, okay, it's 7:30. Okay, 7:35. Okay, like when is this actually starting? Because I had people asking me like, when are we gonna start? And I was like, well, we were supposed to start at 7:30, I didn't really know what to tell them. Just hey, hang out in the lobby. We'll start here in a little bit. Doors are gonna open. But that was something that I was like, man, if we advertise doors open at 7 and
to be fair, I didn't say. I don't think I did.
No,
right?
no, you never did. But you told us as a team that doors were going to open at 7 and we were going to start at 7:30. So that's the expectation all around. And so when it didn't happen, I was just like, all right, we chilling. When we starting? I don't know. Ask Tony.
That was a decision I had made. Because Ceci did ask me, hey, do you want to open the doors? So the idea was to open it up at 7:15, 7:20. And then start 7:30, 7:35, right? Around that time.
Which didn't happen.
Okay. I wanted to keep the auditorium doors closed, so that way the lobby still felt like kind of close knit, to where people didn't feel like it was like, oh, who do I talk to? Who do I don't talk to? But obviously, we want to get to a point where we can start on time. But we didn't finish late either, though.
Real quick, if y'all don't know Tony is late to everything. He comes over my house like several times a week, and he'll be like, I'm there at 6. And so I try to shower and get everything ready before 6. It'd be 6:30, and Tony is still not at my house. Hey. It'd be 6:45, and Tony is still not there, and I call him. He'd be like,
that'd be Jesse too, though.
He'd be like, I just woke up from a nap. Let me shower, and then I'll be over there. Tony comes to my house like an hour and a half late every single time. So now I expect Tony to be late to everything.
You know what's crazy is that he still falls for it.
I do because I have
because you never know.
Somewhat of a hope that Tony will get here on time. And he was even late today to record this podcast. I'm sitting outside of my car, be like, Tony, I'm here. Where you at? He's like, oh, I let Aaron know, blah, blah, blah. He gonna come out to get you, but I'm still not there. And I'm like, all right, it is what it is.
So
you have to tell me like 30 minutes after the time that you actually gonna be here.
Give me,
because you know I'm never gonna be late.
Okay, so look, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think the reason you gave me of what didn't go well was valid.
Why?
So can you give me another thing that, in your opinion,
that's super valid? I'm gonna pause right there because that is huge.
It's valid, but like not really because I never.
Because I'm Tony and and I'm always late. So this isn't
it has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me. It had to do with my reasoning. So I felt like it wasn't like really like a. If it was like a more like established organization or established event, maybe,
or an established time.
No.
So you go. I gave you one, tardiness. It didn't start on time. So how about you tell me, what do you think didn't go?
I think what didn't go well was the empty space, or the empty I guess you could say space. I don't really have the word for it, but like the emptiness of like the sound, right? So in the lobby there was no music because we were sound checking, we were rehearsing. So the music outside in the lobby was predicated off of when we were done.
Yeah.
And so I think the next time, you know, if it were to happen like in that same building, for example, I would maybe have to have a separate speaker.
Yeah.
Or a separate system kind of in there ready to go for when people walk in, because there was because really only like the last 5-10 minutes had music.
Right.
When people were walking in, before people walked in.
You don't go to a party, any party, whether it's a birthday party or a turn up.
And that's
y'all do what y'all do, but it's like you don't go there without music.
Yeah, and that's the idea, right? It was like a pre-turn up and a pre kind of get pumped for the service. And so I think that was a very important missing piece.
Right.
Because we took a lot of the time in rehearsal, which was necessary just because we were all new. We were all trying to get, but like I said,
right.
If something like that's going to happen, we need to have a separate system.
Correct.
And then the same thing for after. The speaker outside is supposed to work, but we didn't know it didn't work.
Yeah, we didn't test it beforehand.
Yep, and we should have tested it. And we didn't have music on the outside. I think that was a very important feature of having the music beforehand and after, because we were giving out the paletas outside, and so that's definitely like a note, like a mental note or a note that I'm writing down. Like, hey, one important aspect of what we do is to be able to have a pre-turn up and then an after party type feeling,
right?
And make sure we have music ready to go. And yeah, we just didn't. We didn't have that. We didn't anticipate that.
But the reason we didn't have that is because we were supposed to finish sound check at a certain time.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing that didn't really go as planned. Obviously the musicians were great and all that, but the flow of the new songs and the old songs and kind of all that, and then not having some musicians at rehearsal, it caused us to be late for sound check, for the music to be out in the lobby, and then I had all of that.
I had someone cancel the day of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so as like me, where I'm kind of running the whole thing, and then even with so Jesse was supposed to have help as well, and they canceled on him for I don't know the reason, but for those of y'all who don't know, Jesse shot pictures and video by himself.
Yeah.
And
which is no easy task, by the way.
It's not an easy task by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if you're goated like the way Jesse is,
let's go.
You can make that happen. You know what I'm saying? They didn't believe in him, but God did. God did. I low-key didn't even believe in him. Right? I asked her, like, are you sure?
Hey, but God did.
But God did. You feel me?